Hello, my beautiful animal lovers. Welcome to your Wellness Wednesday. And for those of you who are tuning in and perhaps don't know me, my mission in life is to really help people to resolve childhood trauma at the root cause of what created the disease or the imbalances in the first place. And in integrating them and releasing them, that they get to return to a place where they really live from trust and faith and grace and in connection, that they're not alone. And I want to speak to something that's coming up a lot this week. There's a lot of animals that generally I get to see people and animals when they've tried everything else in Western Cartesian medicine and also alternative medicine, and no matter what they've tried for themselves or for their animals, they still aren't getting better, or they still feel depressed. And of course, because we live so closely with our domesticated animals, they do take on. Part of it is soul contract, but part of it is just because they're so generous and are here to really teach us how to be good humans. So they will take on our disease and our unresolved trauma if we're not willing to do the internal work and really clear all the shadows and see the gift in the blind spots of whatever it is that's coming up to you. And as a holistic healthcare practitioner that specializes in trauma resolution, one of the things that I see over and over again is that when their animal or someone that they love is being diagnosed with a terminal illness, their number one regret is that they didn't appreciate the person or the animal when they were healthy. And I suppose my message here today is to really stay present. The best gift that you can give to yourself and to your animal friends and to the people that you love is the power of presencing, really being intentional in how you're showing up. And if you're with your children, be with your children. One of the biggest traumas that we're seeing in this epidemic of loneliness is the children that are not tended to. They're left to their own devices. They're on internet from a very early age, and there is no connection between the parents and the child because life is so busy, and the child is kind of having to grow themselves up. And the same thing happens with our animals, that, you know, when they don't feel loved, when they don't feel that you're around, just like being in the same room with somebody that you love, but they're not there, you know, their body's there, but the lights are not on. Most of the caretakers that have been moved toward a more expanded approach to dealing with the health situation of someone that they're caring for, or an animal that is perhaps sick, it does require a change in mindset. And I really don't want you to wait until there is an emergency or a trauma or a health crisis or a diagnosis that gets you really to wake up, which is also part of your animals' teachings. You know, animals are our greatest teachers, and they have so many lessons to share with us if we would just listen. So don't wait until your animal is in decline, or the people that you love are in decline or in the end of their days, and regret not having spent time with them when they were healthy. And what I always remind my clients of is that the one thing that we can be sure of, the one thing that we have absolutely no control over, is that we're all going to die. Although we don't like to think about it, our animals are going to pass at some point. And when we can be accepting of that and see death as this beautiful gift to celebrate life, then we live well so that we can die well. You know, I always say, do your internal work. Keep working on yourself. This is why it's called mastery. While you're healthy and you have the energy to do whatever is necessary to get you into alignment with your soul purpose and to really live into an abundant, beautiful life. Don't wait until you have no energy to actually do the work. That's one of the regrets that people have, is that they wish they'd done this sooner when they come to me for sessions. And Animals don't have a point of view about dying either, because they know that they're infinite, and they know that they choose to incarnate into these sweet little bodies to share our lives with us in order to grow us. And that they know that when they're old, when they're in decline, unlike us who want to try and stitch and repair and replace body parts to keep us alive longer, they just know, okay, you know what, this body's not fun anymore. I'm going to hop out and go and get myself a new body. So I think just in the ownership and the acknowledgement that we're all going to die, our animals are going to leave us in the physical state that they have appeared, but they have the choice, just as we do, to incarnate into new healthy bodies. And I think that's a beautiful place to just stop and pause and just really let that sink in, because there's a lot of peace of mind there when we can stop resisting death, when we can stop resisting the war on disease and start to befriend and tend it. This is where we see spontaneous healings happen. And I think that if we really accept the truth that we do have a choice in how we live and how we die, and that our animals have the same choice, if we just listen to what it is that they want, then we can be at peace and really empowered when they ask for assistance in the dying process. Rather than the guilt that, you know, should I have stayed? Should I have tried longer? Should I have done something different? So many people have so much regret when they have to, you know, make that difficult choice to let their animal pass and actually help them with assistance in the dying process. So I think that for today, what I really want to ask you is, how are you being present in your life to show up for your animal companions, for your children, for your partners, for the people that you commune and create business with? Because we don't want to wait until the end of the days and look back with regret and think, if only I'd done this sooner, if only I had been more present with my children. And it really just comes down to choosing to, you know, to be beyond the space of knowing that your animal is sick, that their death may be impending. And in that process, really choose to be joyful and celebrate the life that is there with you in the present moment. You know, don't wait until they get sick. I mean, you can imagine how the difference of the feeling that you will have from either choice. And I tell every animal lover, anybody that comes in that's caring for someone with chronic disease, or the person that is in disease themselves, that if they can accept death. And I spoke about embracing the death, right? Snake medicine showed up at the beginning of this week also to just remind us that even though it feels agonizing, even though it's uncomfortable, to shed the old skins, to allow the old things that are no longer working for you to fall away and die through the death. You know, the old skin returns, as snake medicine tells us, to the earth, and it composts and creates fertile ground for the new seeds to grow. Yes, your new skin is going to be a little tender and sore, but this too will change. You know, this is not permanent. And I think that's the most important thing to remember too, that everything is temporary. And I think that when you can focus on the joy of living into every single moment with your animals, with your partners, with your loved ones, with your body of work, there's this beautiful expansion of space that turns from fear of loss into the appreciation and the gratitude for loving every breath that you take, every breath that you make with your animal companion, with your loved ones. And that's really the space where wonderful things can happen, and love really deepens from that space. So when you can take the time to be genuinely present and be really honest with yourself, you know, when you're being with your animal companion, if you're walking with them and you're on the phone, it drives me crazy. I see so many people walking their horses up and down in the horse country that I'm on, and they're on these beautiful soft-bodied sensitive horses, and they're completely checked out. The horse is walking along and they're on their phones. They're not with their horses. And I just think, oh, I wish that you could appreciate this beautiful being under your saddle that wants to share this experience of the power and the heart resonance. You know, they have such huge hearts, horses. And to just feel that and live into that and just deepen into right relationship with their horses rather than sitting on their phones. And we check out so easily. There's so many distractions that are going on all around us. But if you're brushing your dog or you're stroking your cat, that's their gift to us, is this beautiful sense of presence. I always love it when my cat comes and lies on my chest. They just know exactly the part of you that's hurting. And they tend to it. They give it attention. Sometimes they do a little kneading. And it's just amazing that they know exactly where we're feeling discomfort in our bodies. And through the frequency of their purr, which is sound frequency, they get to change that for us. I mean, what a gift our animals give us all the time. If we would just pay attention and appreciate that. You know, it just makes my heart so happy when we can actually understand that everything that they do is intentional and it's present. When they're excited, they show excitement. When they're in fear, they show fear. There's no masks, there's no hiding, there's nothing. It's just pure, visceral, somatic release of whatever it is that needs to release. And I think that when we are in a state of presence that is so intense that all the barriers between us and our animal companions can come down and we can sense that deep interconnection, love heals everything. Love heals everything. You know, I really call that heart-to-heart connection. It's heart coherence. This is heart maths and all the science that proves it. And I love that we have this potential with everything that we encounter in life, with every person, with every being, whether that's a plant, whether it's the grass under your feet. Being mindful of what you're stepping on is a beautiful practice, because there's little ants and there's little beings that are living in the soil that are helping the grass grow. You know, all the little earthworms and the plants and the root system of the trees. They're all interconnected and communicating all the time. They're present with each other. And that's what I want for all of us, you know, to really put our full bodied awareness into every present precious moment that we have, so that life can become beautiful. And then you start to feel fulfilled. You start to have a sense of purpose, especially when you're caring for an animal or that's poorly, or a person that is in the end of their days. You can really appreciate and have the joy of knowing them in their living bodies. So whether you have a pet that is sick, or you have a father that travels away from home a lot, or perhaps your children are away and you're missing them. It's a very spiritual truth to make that heart-to-heart connection, and why energy medicine is so effective, because you can't stop energy. Energy transcends all time and space. And when you hold that intention and you bring that person into your heart, you can feel and sense what they're feeling and sensing, and not know that it's not yours. And that's a whole nother conversation. But don't wait, don't wait until your vet or your doctor tells you that someone that you love or your animal is going to die very soon, to realize that, all our bodies are made of the earth. We come from the earth and we return to the earth, and death is the one thing that we can all be certain of. So the mark on the calendar, on this time-space continuum that we're all traveling on, is there. And we just need to be aware of it right now, not just for ourselves, but for the people and the animals that we love. So I invite you to really deepen into how you're being present with your loved ones, and make every moment count. Make it special. Don't waste time with regret later on. Make every moment and every action that you take in this a wonderment and awareness of the beauty of life and what it has to offer us all. And do this in the rituality, right? In the presencing of every day to day, moment by moment, of your waking life, whether it's being with your animal or eating your food or doing your work or walking in nature or connecting with a loved one, if it's bathing your child. Be present. Put the phones away. Stop the distractions and give gratitude and appreciation, because each moment is so, so divine and so precious. And it's a gift. You know, it's a gift for us to experience it. And as much as life is giving to us, what more contribution can we be than to give ourselves to life, to really live, to live fully into our purpose and our wonderment, and to make our small and mighty lives matter and mean something. So the power of choice is always yours, and it's up to you how you want to spend that moment. And I hope you make it count. So please share your insights. Let me know if this was helpful. If you know somebody that would like to hear this and could benefit from it, please share it. We can go so much further together than we can apart. And we're in a time right now where community and connection is one of the greatest currencies that you can have. The whole abundance code is based on this very high vibration of love. And when you can give generously, even when you think you can't give of your resources or your time, you know, time is a resource we never get back. And I think that's the importance of my message today is, if you want the time freedom to be with your animals, stop waiting for time to free up. Make the time. Book time out on your calendar for self-care. Book time out to have beautiful walks with your dog, or times where you just spend cuddling your kitty on the bed, or grooming your horse and chewing grass with the herd. And you'll be amazed how things start to change and shift for you into more of the beautiful life and less of the suffering state. All right, lots of love. Bye. Mwah.